Thanks very much for joining us. We're here in Cape Town at the Parliament buildings, waiting eagerly and in anticipation of Finance Minister Malusi Gigaba's delivery of his first budget speech. It's expected it's going to be an austerity speech, and we are joined now by We're joined by Mr. Keith Engel. He's from the South African Institute of Tax Professionals, just to talk about tax, obviously. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Asina.
An expectation that VAT is going to rise. What does that mean for ordinary South Africans?
Well, there are two ways it can rise. One, they can just simply raise the rate. So there's speculation is at 1 or 2%. That's the growing speculation that seems to be within the government and the private sector. So this is the first time we're willing to deal with that. The other alternative is to remove zero ratings. The big issue would be, do you remove the zero ratings on the fuel, which suddenly would mean a 14% rise in the fuel. So that's going to hit the common citizen quite a lot. Of course, VAT 1% or 2% means all your goods go up. So yes, it's going to be a bit of pain.
Do you think that there's going to be a choice to perhaps nuance those increases whereby they levy VAT on more luxurious goods for those people who can afford to pay a bit more?
Well, they've always been talking about the luxurious goods one, but the problem is there isn't much money in it. So you can do it. We already have ad valorem taxes there. So if they're going to do it, it's for political reasons to show they're hitting the rich. But you're not going to get enough money. The only way to raise the money is to hit the rates and knock off the zero ratings.
A couple of years ago, we saw in Japan, they raised the consumer tax there, and it had the immediate impact of constraining or constricting that particular economy. So how does one strike that balance?
Yes, well, that's one of the questions there, that if you raise that up, you're going to cut demand, and then all of a sudden we're going to buy less. I think maybe the hope will be that the mood is so good that people will understand it's coming, and it might slow them a little bit, but not for very long. I think the views on what the impact did really varies from economist to economist.
Now, when it comes to other indirect taxes, where do you see possible levies happening? And when it comes to something like the sugar tax, how much of an impact will that have?
Well, I don't think there's a lot of money in that. You're talking about small money. The problem is you're 50 billion short, right? That's the number. Some days it's 60, some 50, some 30, so you're never sure which. Those will get you at most a few hundred million. They're not going to get you much. So what are you going to do? You're going to go after alcohol, cigarettes, all of those. That'll get you a bit of money, but it's not getting you big money. You really need something else. Sugar tax could be expanded to include candy, other things. But again, that's another year away, and I don't think there's enough money in there.
Indeed. And then just in terms of possible asset sales that government could make, what are the possibilities there? Because that's another way that they can raise revenue.
Yeah, no, we all want to sell off SAA, right? So that would be the thing. The problem is we probably have to give it away, but at least it'll get rid of our debt. I don't think there's anything immediate. That would take about a year or two. But I think it would be important mostly to sell this stuff so it doesn't keep incurring losses and running up against us. But that's a political issue, right? Because once government's giving away jobs effectively, a lot of those people are going to fight back. So I don't think we're going to be able to count on that in the short-term future. All
right. Well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your succinct responses. Thank you very much. That was Keith Engel. He's at the South African Institute of Tax Professionals. We go to a short break.